Next news is out of Greater Manchester in England. A Mormon couple claim they're not homophobic despite believing gay sex is a sin. So the 17-year-old kid is having a chat with his parents and decides to put them on blast for the things that they're saying about the LGBT community and gay people in particular. They are claiming that homosexuality is a choice. And mind you guys, a lot of the beliefs that Mormons hold specifically about gay people do actually tend to stem from the Mormon religion. They're outrageously homophobic. Yeah. So the teen was actually preparing for a 2-year missionary trip to Zambia, where he'll try to recruit new church members. And this is what happens in the Mormon church. Whenever you turn 17, you go on a 2-year journey. You bike around with another person from your church, and you spend your time going door to door trying to recruit people into Mormonism. So while he's preparing for that, he decided to have a talk with his parents about different people. And they said that they don't believe that practicing a lifestyle of homosexuality is okay. It's a sin. They don't recognize marriage between same-sex couples, which who cares if they recognize it or not? It really doesn't matter. But here's the problem: is they go on to keep saying, quite quickly when he asked his parents if he believed they're homophobic. Of course, we're not homophobic. These are just our eternal principles, right? So yeah, this kid decides.
Wait, what do they think homophobic? How could somebody be homophobic if what? Just because your homophobia is religious, that doesn't make you not homophobic. But what do they like? If that's not homophobic, then what is homophobic? I don't understand.
That's a very good question. If we believe that gay people don't have the right to be married, and we believe that if we believe that being gay is a choice that people choose just to sin against God, then what is homophobia? Because that to me sounds.
But I always say this, and I always have to say this. I don't think that it's not a choice argument is a good argument against homophobia, because even I understand that being gay is not a choice, but even if it was a choice, it will still be okay. And the reason why I'm very sensitive about people saying, "Oh, it's okay because it's not a choice," is because they're missing the point of what is moral and what's not moral. I think the best way of defining morality is finding the harm, right? Even if people could choose to be gay, even if that was the case, because it's not harming anybody, it's okay. And people are like, well, what's the difference? Why is that such a sensitive thing? As long as we're making the point that it's okay and it's whatever argument you make is valid. The reason is because if we don't make the norm for us to define morality based on anything that doesn't everything is okay as long as it doesn't provide harm, cause harm. I mean, the name of the game, I always say, the name of the game is find the harm. No harm means it's okay. If we don't do that, then our moral standards is going to be based on a definition that is not going to avoid harm. The more our moral standards is based on avoiding harm, the more we will avoid harm, right? And that is why I'm very sensitive about this. I'm very, I want to keep on emphasizing this. Any other moral standard other than no harm, then it's okay, will encourage more harm and avoid less harm. And that's why I'm always trying to find taboos that doesn't, all the stuff in Twitter that got me in a lot of trouble, the things that I say, that I look at taboos in society and why is this wrong? Why is that wrong? And I can't find anything wrong with it. And people are like, wow, Armin is saying this is okay or that is okay, is because I'm trying to promote the idea no harm means it's okay. Because if people understand that is the standard, then that is going to result in less harm. So what do you guys think? I really don't like it when people say, "Oh, being gay is okay because it's not a choice." It doesn't matter if it's a choice. I don't
think that's the argument that they're trying to make. I think that where this argument comes from and this is just my opinion, okay, is especially teenagers trying to explain this to their parents, right? When they come out saying they're gay, a lot of religious parents will be upset and say, well, then don't be, right? And so they have to come back, well, it's not a choice. And somehow that has stemmed into, well, if it's not a choice, then it's okay. But that's not what I think the original argument ever even came from. Does that make sense?
Right. But people do say that, yeah, okay, so I agree with that. People should point out that it's not a choice when they say, like, oh, switch to being straight. Then that's the point where it's fair to say, well, it's not a choice. But if I don't like the second line of reasoning when people say it's not a choice, so therefore it's okay. No, it would still be okay even if it's not a choice. I think people should make that point for the sake of higher standards of morality. What do you think, Chopin?
Yeah, I agree with Armin actually, because I get like pissed off at this, like, oh, it's not a choice, it's not their fault and everything. Like, I'm like, okay, if they want to do it, even if it's a choice, then it's no problem. And I think we need to change people's mentality from, okay, it's not a choice because so it's fine, to it does no harm, so it's fine. We don't have to care if it's a choice or not.
Yeah,
I think we need to change people's mentality.
Right.
Okay, can I just hop in here and say something really quick? We hear a lot of people saying that we need to change our mentality, but when we're talking about allies, even if they're being ignorant and they don't realize it, if somebody is defending us, I don't think that we need to really be attacking them and say, hey, your argument for defending me is ignorant. So I think that if somebody wants to step up and say, hey, don't blame her, it's not her fault that she's gay, they're not somebody I'm going to choose.
But we're not attacking.
Okay, I'm not saying that we need to attack them. I'm saying that we can just have friendly debates. Okay, here's the thing about you said. I think this is what I think, and I think we can have friendly debates.
We're not attacking them. Yeah, we're not attacking.
I mean, I wasn't responding to you. I was responding to Subham when he said, when somebody says this, we need to make them think differently. No, I don't think now's the time. And that's just, I don't think now's the time to battle that battle.
By the way, I wasn't like talking about like every individual. I'm like changing the society through education and stuff, so that gradually the society will start to think like, okay, even if it's a choice, it's still not a problem.
Right. I mean, if somebody...
I see so many people in the LGBTQ community who get outrageously upset when allies say things that are ignorant. And I just think that we need to quit being upset over it.
Don't get outraged, but I don't think it's... you're right. Okay, don't get outraged if somebody said, like, oh, it's okay because it's not a choice. Don't get outraged over it, but I think it's okay to just tell them like why you don't think that's a good argument, why you think this is a better argument, even though they're right. Yeah. Fine. I mean, I don't think an ally is going to quit being an ally because of if somebody like, oh, I support gay people because I don't think it's a choice. If I tell them, well, it will still be okay even if it's not a choice. I don't think the reaction is going to be, okay, I'm going to stop being an ally. But I think Ali, you're right. If I say like, how dare you? If outrage is a response, then yes, then you're alienating allies. You're right, Ali, in that position. But one thing that also pisses me off, but I'm not going to get show outrage over it, is when people say it's not their fault. That seems like being gay is like a curse or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but this is especially, in the Deep South, that's what you hear a lot.
Right, it's not their fault. Like, well,
you know what? You pick your battles with it, is the way I say. So
yeah, that's the thing here as well. Like, if someone's gay, like people will be like, oh, that's a disease. It's not his fault, but it's a disease. We should not blame them, but it's still not really normal and stuff. That's a thing here as well.
Yeah. So I'm going to tell them, it's not your fault to be straight either.
Atheists are under attack in many places. If they were Christians, their voices would be heard. If they were Jews, their voices would be heard. If they were Muslims, their voices would be heard. But they are atheists, and not many seem to be listening. Let's make it difficult for them to ignore us. We have built a global community, and now we are tearing down geographic, cultural, and language barriers so we can find each other and support each other. In the last decade, we have built the largest atheist community in the world. Now we're doing the same in other languages. With your help, we have started Atheist Republic in Persian and Arabic.
انضميت مؤخرا لأسرة Atheist Republic وحيصير عندي بودكاست باللغة العربية.
As we grow, we can dedicate more time, staff, and resources to start doing the same in Spanish, Portuguese, Malay, Bengali, Urdu, Hindi, and other languages. We are providing community, support, informative content, and amplifying the voices of those who need protection, especially in countries where people feel isolated simply for their lack of belief. We want to be there for them, and we are only getting started. Help us get there. Check in the description for ways you can support our projects.